Arcade Fire, Reflektor. So I am here today to review Reflektor, which is the fourth studio album from the from Arcade Fire. I'm going to do a little bit of like kind of backstory as to how I came to grow to like Arcade Fire, and then I'm going to do, of course, the track by track review of the album. So, way back when, I know it's kind of a bandwagon thing, of course, but the Where the Wild Things Are trailer had Wake Up from Funeral on it. And, of course, I know that's how a lot of people came to, at least hear about Arcade Fire, but I heard that song and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I heard it again later and realized, it's Arcade Fire. Okay, I'm going to listen to them a little bit. And I got to like Funeral. But at the time, only Funeral and Neon Bible were out, I think. I could be wrong. I think that's right. I don't know. I don't remember. Those were the only two they had out. And I tried listening to a little bit to Neon Bible, but I just wasn't interested at the time. But I liked Funeral. I liked Wake Up. I really liked Power Out. There was just a lot of good songs on that album that I liked. At the time, it was like there was some good piano stuff in there, and it really was just I really enjoyed the music. But then The Suburbs came out soon after that, and I was like, oh, cool, another Arcade Fire album. I'm curious to see what this is about. And that album was extremely important to me because that came out around the time that I had first started my job. Let me just double check. Yeah, The Suburbs came out in 2010 on August 2nd. So I had been working my job for about started in June 2010, so for a few months at least, June, July, August, a couple months. So that album I was listening to as I was starting my first job and getting used to working a job. And so in a way that album was kind of like a coming of age thing for me. I really liked Suburbs. I really liked Ready to Start. Modern Man was great. I really connected that with like my feelings of working, and Empty Room. What is it? The Beyond the Mountains, Sprawl 2. Is that right? Yeah, I think it is. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. But all that said, I really just liked the album. It was really good to me. Not like good to me like it touched me in certain places, but it did. But it was really good for me at the time, and it was kind of something for me to latch on to. And I really liked the sound too. And so it's obviously been 3 years since Suburbs, so I've had a lot of time to really get with Arcade Fire and enjoy their music. But over the past year or so, maybe year and a half, I'd kind of fallen away from the Suburbs. It just wasn't having as big of an impact on me. Maybe I overplayed it a little bit, but I still enjoy it, obviously, and I will listen to it every now and again. But the impact didn't last for me, at least. Not to say that I still don't enjoy it. It doesn't mean a lot, but it's just it doesn't have the pop for me as much as it did. And during that, between that time, I also got a little more into Neon Bible than I had before, because originally there was nothing on Neon Bible I liked. I came across Intervention, which I think that was the first one I came across on Neon Bible that I really enjoyed. I love the organ in it. And then I came across Windowsill. Those were like the only two that I had liked for the longest time. I knew a lot of people liked My Body as a Cage, but I had listened to the beginning a few times and it didn't catch me. But I came to realize that with Arcade Fire, you need to listen to the whole song because like I'm going to talk about in a second with Reflektor, there's a lot of components to an Arcade Fire song where if you just are turned off by the intro or the beginning, you're going to miss a lot of good stuff. But I hadn't listened to that song for the longest time because I wasn't interested with it. But I finally did, and I loved that one too. So there was like mainly 3 or so songs that I enjoyed from Neon Bible. Like I said, I didn't really listen to the other ones. I probably should. I haven't, but I'll get around to it obviously. But yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying their music for a while. And then I saw, I think what they did was they posted, I don't know if it was to Facebook or what, but they posted like a new single. It was Reflektor. I don't know if they posted an image first or what, but they posted Reflektor, and I was like, oh wow, they're coming out with new stuff. I wasn't even really watching them, kind of like with the National. And I'm like, okay, it's Reflektor. This song is 7 minutes long, and it's a single. Almost 8 minutes long, and it's a single. And that kind of surprised me because I was like, wow. This song is like almost 8 minutes long, and it's the title of the album. What could the rest be like? So I watched the music video, I listened to the song, and I had no idea what to think. I was like, okay, we got some disco in here, but it still has that Arcade Fire indie sound. I don't know. That's the thing with Arcade Fire is when they release something new, you really have to let it grow on you. And when it does, you're part of it. You're in it. So I listened to Reflektor for a while, and it just didn't blow me away at the beginning. So in that sense, it's like once I heard Reflektor, I wasn't extremely gung-ho excited about the rest of the album coming out on my birthday, actually. Well, it came out the 28th, I think, but it was scheduled for the 29th, which was my birthday, my 21st. And I wasn't super excited for it. I wasn't like looking forward to it a bunch. I was just like, oh, I'll listen to it when it comes out. Which is weird because I did like Reflektor and it did grow on me, but it didn't elicit a huge excitement. Then they posted the track listing, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. They have another number 2 of a song, like part 2 or whatever. Huge track listing. And the final album came out to 85 minutes, so it's I could tell that they put a lot of stuff on there. But even then, I wasn't extremely on board. I was just like, okay, it's an album, it's coming out. I guess I'll listen to it when it does. So finally, it did come out, and I was excited by then. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, new Arcade Fire album. But I didn't know what to expect, which was kind of what maybe held back a little bit of my excitement. But I got, all of them came out. I listened to it. First listen, I'm not sure. There weren't a lot of songs that jumped out on my first listen. I know that. Yeah, I don't even know. It's really hard to explain without going into the track by track, which I think I'll do now. So here we go, track by track review. Okay, so we'll start with Reflektor. So like I said, this was the single that came out first. When I listened to it, it's a peculiar song, and I wasn't really expecting that kind of a peculiar structure to it. It really surprised me that you have this whole disco synthy feel to it almost. But it really did grow on me. It has, like I said, 7.5 minutes, and it has the staple of this album, which is long songs with a lot of different parts, and all of them are great. Like the Reflektor goes from this beginning, and then it kind of builds up, and then it kind of strips back again, and you got the cool little piano thing, which is actually It's actually my ringtone right now. So if it's like if I go to phone and then it's not in phone. It's what am I doing? If I go to sounds and then I go to ringtone, it's this. So anyway, so that I made that my ringtone. I really like that bit of the song. Like I said, it was kind of a grower because the harmony was kind of surprising, so it took me a while to latch onto it. But I really enjoyed that one. I haven't listened to it a lot since because like I said, it was the single, so I obviously listened to that only from this album for a while before the album was released. So, moving on. Number 2, We Exist. This is in my top 5. Top 5, yes. Top 4. I'd do a top 4 because I don't know what I'd have as a 5. I have 4 favorites from this album, and We Exist is one of them. When I first did my initial run of the album, beginning to end, this song didn't jump out at me because it was the first time I heard it. And once I listened to the whole album, I kind of gravitated towards the last half, the second disc. I listened to that a lot more than the first disc, so We Exist I kind of had to come back to after a little while. But album's been out for almost a month now, so I just recently got back into the first half in maybe the last week or so. But We Exist it just has a lot of great parts. Great harmony. The melody's really strong. There's a really nice, awesome piano section in there. Great build up. I don't really know what to say. That's like a lot of what is in this album. It has great build ups. Just a lot of different parts, a lot of like very distinctive parts that make up these really long songs. Because this song is almost 6 minutes long. But I've been listening to it and I remember every single part, and they're all just very climactic, explosive, dramatic, lots of good stuff. It's a very, very fun song to turn up loud. And then the third song is Flashbulb Eyes. This is my least favorite song on the album. It's only a little under 3 minutes, and it really doesn't jump out. It's not a bad song, but it's kind of funky, and it really doesn't impact as much as the other songs do. I can remember it, like the parts. It's not like a forgettable song, but it's really overshadowed by a lot of the other songs on this album. So, like I said, it doesn't jump out as much, and honestly, I haven't listened to it a whole lot. So, there's that. And then number 4 is Here Comes the Nighttime. This was one of the big singles too, I think. They played this at SNL. It's a really fun song. It has, I think it's just like a 1 to 5/7, if I'm not mistaken, like most of the song is. Really interesting instrumentation. That's another thing about this album, is it has a real disco feel, but the instruments are varied. With every song, more or less. So you got some interesting, like, overblown guitar. Got some, like, piano or xylophone, it sounds like, in the chorus. It's really interesting. And then interspersed between these, jovial 1 to 5/7 parts, you have this, like, real dramatic, like, build up. Here comes the nighttime. And, like, the harmonies really building up right back into, the chorus again. It's a really fun song. I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't listened to it a whole lot, though. Like I said, I've only been getting back into the first half in the past week or so. Number 5 is Normal Person. This was one of my first favorites of the album. It's really rock and roll-ish. Really loud guitars, screeching, but it's not annoying. It's just, very, the nice vibrations of the guitars. Really cool riff in the chorus. The verses fall a little flat sometimes, and you're really just kind of waiting to get back into the chorus. And then the last half of the song, when it's like, the rock is kind of swinging back and forth. I don't know what lyrics were said. Maybe I'll try to play it here. But that's when the song really kind of starts to like coast, and you enjoy it a little bit more because the verses are kind of done. But that's a fun song. And then it goes into You Already Know, track 6. This one sounds very like 50s rock and roll. Like Ed Sullivan Show kind of a thing almost. It's a lot of fun. I like You Already Know a lot. I think this one also suffers from a few flat verses, but like with You, Normal Person, the last half is like a nice coast of just kind of nice open sounds, and it's a lot more enjoyable in that half. I don't know really else to say about it. It's just another fun song. Like I said, it sounds like something from the 50s, so it has a nice kind of feel to it. It gives the album a real nice texture. And then Joan of Arc. This is the last track on the first half of the album. It starts with a real punk rock kind of non-rhythmic, just going crazy, not caring kind of a sound. And then it transitions into the main song. I don't remember if this song has like a last half that's more open and memorable to enjoy to listen to, but this one fell flat real fast for me. The verses are okay. The chorus is unique, but it doesn't grab me a whole lot. I skip this song a lot now. I go back to it every now and again if it's on, just to, because, it takes me a while before I'm ready to listen to it again, kind of, but for the most part, I don't listen to it a whole lot anymore. It's not a bad song. It's 5.5 minutes, but, I don't know, it just didn't jump out and grab me like the other ones have. And that goes into the second disc. Disc 2. The first track is Here Comes the Nighttime 2, which is very different from Here Comes the Nighttime 1. This one, the last half of this album is a lot darker than the first half. It has a lot more moody songs. And because, I'm such a dark person with a lot of depression, I love the darker half. No, that's not. The only similarity between this song and the first one is it has Here Comes the Nighttime as lyrics, because they're two very different songs. And it actually reminded me a lot of a Killers song. Hold on. I have to find it real fast. There was a Killers song called Good Night Farewell on Day and Age, I believe it was. Good Night Travel Well. This song sounds a lot like it, actually. But I think there's one chord that's different at the end of the progression. But it sounds a lot like it. And it has this really nice like string bit in the first half. It's only 3 minutes long, which is actually short for this album. Nice string bit. And then that's slowly building up to this like little explosion. And then you have this cool little like broken chord arpeggio thing with the chords. It's real nice. I like this song a lot. That goes into Awful Sound. On my first listen of this album, this was one of my favorites, but it's kind of fallen a little bit. Not for any particular reason, just taste-wise. I haven't enjoyed it a whole lot recently. But it has some cool drums in the beginning, this little bass bit, which kind of builds up. That's the interesting thing about this album, is how, like, you think about one part of a song and then like a part at the end, and how far it travels to different like sounds and just completely different rhythms. Like this bit from this song and this bit from the end of the same song like could be in two different songs because they sound so different almost. And that's kind of the way it is with Awful Sound. is it kind of builds up to where he starts saying, awful sound, and then to the part where he says, I know there's a way we can leave today, or something like that. That sounds like another completely different song in and of itself, but it builds up to that point and then transitions like really well. But that's a 6-minute song. It's a good one. It's a good one. I just haven't listened to it a lot lately. And then It's Never Over. This is in my top 4. The second one in my top 4. Really, this is great to play in your car. The bass is good. The drums are good. When it builds up, like do 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 do, it's just like real nice punch to it. Reverberating bass. It's really good. Well mixed. But this is another one where the verses are a lot of fun, actually, because like the part where he says "wait until it's over," like over and over throughout the song. It sounds like really disco-y almost, because like there's either 2 tracks of him singing or he put an effect on it or something, but it's wonderful. And there's 2 distinctive parts of this song. There's that part, with like the bass and everything there, and then there's this really slow string part. It's like wake you up when it's over, which is a nice build up right back into the chorus again. And then of course the last bit, which is just all of that string bit. It's never over. It's a great song with a lot of great parts that are like a big story. It's really fun to listen to. The song is almost 7 minutes long. I just really like it a ton. And then Porno. This is the 3rd song of my top 4, and it might. It's really hard to say. It might be my favorite song. It's either tied with that or the next song on the top 4. But Porno, I remember when I saw the track listing, I'm like, whoa, Porno? What's this? What could this be? That's probably the best song on the album. Couldn't find out. It actually kind of is. It's very synthy, almost 80s-esque, and it sounds a lot like the Drive soundtrack. It's a great song. It has good lyrics. The Win Butler's falsetto is great in it. It just has a lot of really good parts. It's like the whole song is just great part after great part after great part. The verses are simple but enjoyable. The chorus is a lot of fun to sing along to. And there's one bit, I'll play it here, where the song is going, and then there's this guitar that chimes in with this simple riff, but it accents the song so well. And it's just the bees and knees. Let me say it like that. I just really love Porno. What can I say? And then Afterlife. This is the last one in my top 4. I didn't like this song a ton on my first several listens, but only within the past week and a half, I've really started to love it. It was in my number 1 spot for a long time. It's like this and Porno and Afterlife are like tied for number 1 for me. I don't know what it is about it. It's the harmony. It's the you know what I'm talking about if you've heard the song. Just that little melody. It's just really good. Verses are simple, but fun to listen to. Just a lot of great parts to it. I really enjoy listening to it. I'm repeating myself with like a lot of these things, but all the songs like have this same formula and they work so well. The real difference is the different instrumentation used. I mean, they're different songs, but they're not all using the same kind of instrument and sound, which is what really sets them apart. But Afterlife I like a ton. I've been listening to that a lot as well. And then the last song on the album, Supersymmetry. The song is 11 minutes long, but this is it's really calm, it's very repetitive, and that could be a criticism to some people, but I mean, you have to think to yourself for a second. Okay, this song is 11 minutes long. This is not like, made for radio. Okay, this is like almost a meditative song almost. It's very slow in building up. The song doesn't change a whole lot. When it does, you can hear it in there, and it's very it's almost sad, but I really enjoy it, actually. It's a nice song to play in the background when you're just doing something else, not just sitting there listening to it. When's it going to be over? 6 minutes? We got, 5 minutes left? It's not that kind of a song. It's the one you put in the background. But I enjoy it a lot. I like it. Not one of my all-time favorites, but it's a nice, quiet way to close the album out. And that's Reflektor. It's just a Reflektor. So that's my track review. As you can tell, I like a lot of the songs on this album. There's just a handful that I not really don't like, but haven't stuck with me. But as a whole, I think the album is great. Now, a lot of people think that this album isn't as good as Suburbs, which I would have to argue, because now don't take into account the fact that Suburbs has worn off on me a little bit or anything like that. No, like I said, it's a very important album to me. I love it a lot. But people don't seem to realize like the masterpiece that Reflektor is. It like, unless they just don't like the sound or something, because I'm obviously not like a real big disco person, but I really like what they've done on this record. All the songs are great. They have great parts. Everything's just been thought through, and it's just it's great. So if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10, at least in Arcade Fire book. In the grand scheme of things, it'd probably lean closer to an 8. High 8. Low 9, I'd say, maybe somewhere in there, like an 8.5 out of 10, because it really is a fantastic album. I really don't know what I could criticize about it, because I don't know. I don't, at this point, I can't tell it's revolutionizing anything, but people keep saying that it's not as good as the Suburbs, or it didn't hit him as hard. And I don't know like I said, I don't know if that's just a sound thing or what, but I love this just as much as the Suburbs, especially like right now. I'll have to see how it holds up. But anyway, that is my review. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Comment. Like the video if you enjoyed the review, and comment about your opinion of Reflektor and tell me what you think. If my score is subject to change, I will change it in the description, over time. But as it stands now, I give it a 9. I've been listening to it a ton, and I enjoy it a ton. So that's that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in whatever else I make.